Hey there viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. Got us a 2007 Chevrolet. It's a 1500 with a big 5.3. It's running pretty rough. It's got a pretty heavy misfire on cylinder number 6, and it's not just your typical, it needs a spark plug or coil or something along those lines. I attempted to make a part 1 of this video and it got kiboshed, to say the least. I was using a screen recorder and it didn't work out as I anticipated, so there was nothing really salvageable from the video. I'm going to show you my test results from the first go around. It was a pretty quick and easy diag. I'm going to tell you why I went the route that I went, and then we're going to retest it like I did on the first go around that you didn't see, and see if we can't still make something of this and maybe learn a few things. I will say in the past I've had videos go awry because of technical fouls on my end, and it usually doesn't bother me too much because, well, shush happens, as they say. This one kind of bugged me because it was kind of a neat diag and we got to the problem pretty quick and had some unique testing. We're able to make a good hypothesis, and we got right to the conclusion on our very first test, which I thought was pretty neat. However, you'll never get to see it. So we're going for the number 6 injector, which should be this little guy right here. And as I mentioned, this one is spraying too much fuel. It's not, electrically it functions well. I don't know how to undo these connectors here. Kind of a funny looking thing. Not ha-ha funny either. Like funny make you look like a fool funny. Ah, my stinking fingers don't work normally. We gotta put some kind of funny business on here. There it is. I'll just reach under and give her a click up. I think you're supposed to just push it, but anywho, we're gonna see. I think we can just leave this rail that goes over to the other side. Let me get some spray so we can just work it out of the hole. Make sure you go through with a blow nozzle and get rid of any chunks of debris that could possibly fall in the hole when you pull out. We're gonna try to just wiggle. Oh yeah. Wiggle. Also make sure that there is no fuel pressure in your rail. You know what, we ain't the first people in here, folks. It's kind of odd that these O-rings look like they've been in and out before. See how this is split? I don't know if you guys can see that. That doesn't happen by taking it out. I'll tell you that much. That happens when somebody's been meddling, pulling in and out, not lubing it up, nicking the end off the rubber, and boom! So we've got a new injector here. I'll give you the part number on that. Some Napper, not a sponsor, of course, and we're going to compare it to the new one. And of course, they've sent us the wrong one because it's way too short. That's lovely. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Story of my freaking life. So here's the deal. I looked it up myself, and that is the number it comes up with. How many of you know that the 2007 Chevrolet was the year of the body style change? And even when you look it up on the Napper system as the 07 Chevrolet Classic, which is what this thing is, it still comes up with this number. However, it is incorrect. Okay. So So what I did is I just cross-referenced the number off this one, which is 125-80426. And it says that this injector fits like 02 to 06 Chevrolets with the 5.3. Anyhow, I've got one coming from Advance Auto, not a sponsor. It should be here today, well after lunchtime, so I'm just going to leave this. Needless to say, we had to get the lower injector O-rings anyways, because that one's torn, so I have them coming too. I'll give you the rundown as to why we're doing what we're doing, because we have time to kill now. Truck came in, as you can see here in my notes, at a PO 175 for running rich on bank 2, and it also had a PO 300. Rough idle complaint. Took a quick gander at it and could see that the fuel trims on bank 2 were running, you know, -19 long term, -2 short term, so it was taking, you know, a 21% fuel correction on that side and pulling fuel away. I came to the assessment that, you know, the only thing that can overfuel one bank, because bank 1 was running perfect, was, you know, a faulty injector. There has to be an introduction of fuel. At least that was my hypothesis. So I started with an injector balance test, and I just used the Pico for the visual representation, and it seemed to work out pretty well. So what we're looking at here is just a pressure trace, okay? So right up here at this line is 60 PSI. And I just had the Pico hooked to the fuel rail. So at 60 PSI, then we would command the injector to turn on. It would turn on for a given amount of time, and then it would drop. And then this is the peakest where it dropped and got down to 30 PSI. And then I did the same thing for cylinder 2. You know, it built fuel pressure, turned the injector on, dropped to 30, you know, so on and so forth. So cylinder 3, cylinder 4, cylinder 5, we got cylinder 6. It built up to 60 PSI, but then it dropped way more than the rest. I thought I had in my notes here what it did drop. What was that? I think, yeah, right there, 36 PSI drop on injector 6. I read my own notes, so it's about a 6 PSI difference. And then 7 and 8 were the same as, you know, 1 through 5. So the injector works, it opens, it closes, it had the ability to hold pressure, but when it opens to fire, it sprays more fuel, so to speak. And that was causing our misfire on cylinder 6, the rough idle. It's going to skew our fuel trims, and that's why we're at where we're at. So once we get the new one and we install it, we're going to redo this test, and theoretically they should all be within, you know, give or take a pound or so on these. We definitely shouldn't have, you know, one injector flowing more gas, or in most cases you see this, we do this injector drop test because they're not flowing enough gas and we're getting a lean misfire. So it's kind of unusual to see, you know, how this one broke, but I just wanted to, I really wish we would have got this the first go around. And we're back. Advance Auto got us this one. Not a sponsor. It's the AC Delco. Part number on it is the same as the other one. Whoa! My OSHA approved bucket just slipped. So the OE injector 125-80426. 125-80426. So it should be right. And I've made an observation since I was doing other things and coming over here, is that all of these injectors are missing their upper clip. So that is also part of the mystery. All the clips that hold the injectors into the rail are gone. They're all on the other side of the engine. Fortunately for us, this AC Delco injector comes with said clip. Must be they're not that important because they, you know, injectors seem to hold in. Now I also ordered us a set of these from Felpro. Definitely not a sponsor. Also from Advance Auto. And these are our lower injector O-rings because we had noticed that the other ones, or a couple of the other ones, were tore up. All tore up, just like, well, I'll leave that one alone. Let's see. So I'm going to pop off one of the ones here that's all messed up. Actually, you know what? I'll probably just take the whole injector out. Hopefully the upper O-ring is not wonky because I did not buy upper O-rings. I only bought lowers. So I'll pull that out and you can see, hopefully you can see how this lower O-ring is tore. And again, I don't know why. They go into a tapered hole that's plastic. Somebody's been meddling in things they ought not to be meddling in, but that's a good Harry Potter quote. The big scruffy guy in Harry Potter said that. Yeah, and the tip of this one's all kind of jammed up sideways, so somebody's been fiddling with this one. Well, this sucks. I should have really done my research a little bit here to see what people have been fiddling with. So the end of this injector, I don't know if you can see it, but the cap is kind of cockeyed. So I'm going to pop that new O-ring on. Then we're going to slip that one back up in the rail. Let's see, I don't remember. I just want to see if any of the other O-rings are wonky. The back one there looks good. I think it was just that one plus the one we took out. This front one looks good. All right. Well, this is where everybody complains. It says, why don't you just change them all? Well, because all of them aren't bad. I'm just doing the ones that are ripped. So we're going to put a little dielectric grease on here. Stuff's kind of slick. Brake caliper grease works well also. Or silicone grease. I think I got enough on there. But you know what they say, the bigger the glob, the better the job. Let's see if I can't get that back up in the rail now. Utilizing the intake as a priming apparatus. Okay. All right, that is back in the rail. Kind of wish I had all the clips. I don't want them to all blow out on my watch. We're going to stick a little schmoo up on the top of this one also. We'll slip this one in now. This one will go in and lock in. You should be able to leave, I think you can leave those on. And when you push them up on, I think they spread out and then they click in. That's my theory. We're going to give that a go just to see. I could be wrong. You know what? I'm not even going to chance it. Let's just take it off. Because that's going to happen. I'm going to drop it on the floor. Knowing my luck, it would fall down in the engine somewheres. Okay, so that one is up and in. Let me go get my clip. Look at that, I picked it up off the floor. That means somebody's secretly, quietly standing behind me. Not want to be on camera. Let's see. That clip is on. Now I'm going to get a Q-tip and we're going to put a little schmoo down in each one of the holes so we don't ruin the new O-ring that we put on the one that was previously torn, and we don't tear the ones that weren't previously torn. Let's see. Hole number 2. There's that one. Hole number 4. We'll just get it lubricated around the edge. It should be all we need. Number 6 back here, if I can reach it. Now, number 8, I don't think we're gonna have to do anything with because the injector must have tweaked a little. I see it's got gas around the hole. The gas is pretty slick too, but we'll give it a try. Just in case. Okay. Must have cocked the injector sideways a little bit and that happened. Let's see if I can't get these all lined back up. There's those ones. Oh, she slipped in nice. That one's in. Everybody's in. Everybody should be happy. We'll plug this back in. Get the lock down. I'll bolt them down and then we'll kick the key on to see, oh man, almost lost it again, to see if they leak. Hopefully they don't. These are easy enough to change. I'll have to get a blow nozzle and blow the gas off that leaked out of that back one just to make sure we didn't compromise the upper O-ring. Giving it the old cross-handed double twister. That's a classic move. You get a tightening device. Looks like the right size. Oh wow, you really weren't thinking there, were you, pal? Good thought, poor execution. Oh! This thing ought to work. I go from one extreme to the next, don't I? That one's good. That one's good. Let me get a blower. We'll clean that one off. Let's see where we're at. Looks high and dry. Let me kick the key on. Cover your squints in case it sprays fuel everywhere. I heard the pump cycle and come to a stall, or a high pressure anyways. I don't see stuff spraying. Well, let's see if it runs. I know you guys didn't hear it run the first go around, and I've given you my excuse as to why that was. Not an excuse. Told you what happened. I'm gonna let it sit here and run. Previously, the more it ran, the worse it got. So I'm gonna, in the meantime, hook up the scan tool. Then we're gonna hook the Pico back to it. Double check the injector drop, make sure they're all even, and then see if that was the only issues with this thing. We got her up. I'm gonna be cautious this time. I'm gonna hold this in front of the camera in case the screen recorder goes wonky. But we can see, even though you didn't see the first time, that there are no current misfires. And it looks like we have no historical misfires. Good things going here. So previously, you have to take my word for it, cylinder 6 was counting up like a madman, 6 and 4 and 2, basically everything on bank 2. And that was a result of overfueling on cylinder number 6. So, because we don't have a individual cylinder monitoring system, you know, we don't have 4 oxygen sensors over here. You know, bank 2 sees that it's running rich because a single cylinder is overfueling. So the only thing it can do is cut back the fuel injection for the entire bank. So it makes the, you know, good running cylinders run lean at that point because it took the injector pulse width from 3.5 milliseconds back to, you know, 2.5. So 3 of the cylinders start to run lean, 1 cylinder is running rich, and the whole thing runs like crap. But we can see, you know, hopefully it's working as it should, that there are currently no misfires. Now I want to pop back out and go into fuel trim data. Before that was at like -21 total fuel trim, and the bank 1 was running around 0. And we can see now that our total fuel trim is around -5, -3-ish on bank 1, and bank 2 is, you know, -5, -4, somewhere there. So we're in fuel control. I assume that because this has been running so poorly for so long, that, you know, the oil's probably contaminated with gas, so we're probably getting some vapors through the PCV system that are attributing to these negative fuel trim numbers, but it's well within fuel control. Total fuel trim's beautiful. I'm happy with that. We're gonna go back out. I wanna make sure that there's no codes. I had a rich code bank 2 and a PO 300 before, and it was running quite poorly. And just for poop and laughter, we're going to hook the Pico back to it and just rerun through that injector test, because that's easy enough to do and that we have no codes, so that's good. I'm going to shut her off. We're going to hook up the Pico just for the fun of it. All right, folks. If all goes well and the stars align, all the screen recorders will be working and everything will be functioning, and this video won't be garbage. So I've got the WPS hooked up there. So this is our Pico scope and the WPS 500. It's a pressure transducer. It's just hooked to the fuel rail. And then we're going to go, actually I'm going to pause that for a second. I'll bring this up on your screen and you can see we're sitting static around, I don't know, 21.49 PSI. That's because the engine's hot. It's actually building pressure. So it's helpful. It tells us we don't have a leak in our rail. We certainly don't have a leaking injector. Which menu are we in here? Special functions, and we're going to go to injector balance. All right. And then we're going to get the Pico rolling here. We're going to do them right in order. We're going to start with injector 1, and we should hear it turn on the fuel pump and then turn on the injector. Then we're going to go injector 2. And we're going to be looking for equal drops. I'm going to keep on going down the line. Injector 3. Injector 4. So I'd like to get them all on the same screen if possible. Injector 5. This was our trouble injector here. This is injector 6. And we're going to go injector 7. And then last but not least, injector 8. All right, we'll get out of there. We'll pause this. I'm gonna bring this over so I can yell into the camera more clearly. We're gonna have a look to see what we see. Nice. Now these are not perfectly even because we're going to have some discrepancies because the engine is hot. We're going to look at our average topside pressure, so about 60.5. And if we come down, we're going to look at our averages to where they were all dropping to. So our lowest, cylinders 2 and cylinder 6, were at 45 PSI, and our other ones were 46-ish. Up to 46.4. So even though this looks like this distance, let's say our distance from right here to over here, it looks great because of the scaling. It looks great in the sense that it looks big, like there's a big discrepancy. But when it actually comes down to the meat and potatoes of it, let's say our lowest one, let's look at cylinder 6. That's our newest injector. That's going to be flowing the best. What's the delta between, let's say, our best and our worst is 1.5 PSI. That is not a big deal on a V8 engine like this. Now when we start talking 6 or 8 PSI like we had originally, so we'll save this over here, or we'll put this over there, and then we'll open up the OG. Because we didn't start at 0, it's going to look a little different, if that makes sense to you. Bring that one over here and open that one up over here. So that's, there we go. Kind of get this where we can all see it. New injectors, the old one. When this one started, the fuel pressure started at 0, so our scaling looks different on this one over here. So don't be tricked by that. But you know, obviously the difference here was, you know, 6 or 8 PSI, something like that. Yeah, 6 PSI. The difference between dropping to 30 PSI is a drop into 36. So I think we can confirm it. We can call it fixed. I'm happy with it. Hopefully you're happy with it. Hopefully we salvaged this video. And all is well, and I learned how to use my screen recorder and actually have it set correctly this time. And we'll send it on its way. Why are they missing the clips? I don't know. Am I getting new ones for it? Nope. I'll tell them about it. It sounds like they've been meddling with this thing for a while. So perhaps they have them kicking around somewhere. Maybe they were swapping injectors, something like that, and things got tossed. I don't know. So we'll leave it at that, folks. I don't know if anything is useful to you from this video, particularly not seeing the diagnosis part of it, but just showing you the data collected from the first one and a little bit of talk I think we did earlier this morning on how I got to where I was and why I did the test that I did. If not, just know that we did the right test. And yeah, why don't you guys do the right thing and head down to that comment box, leave a question, comment, criticism, concern, while you're down there, ring that bell after you subscribe, of course. Just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.